What's going on, guys? Welcome to Dime Dropper 24-minute recaps, episode number 82. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe on all platforms at YouTube at Dime Dropper Podcast, Apple Podcast, follow us on Spotify, and of course, to follow us on all social media platforms at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Dime Dropper Pod. So for tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the Clippers and the Suns battling for the 2-seed winner clinch playoff berth. And then I'll be talking about the Lakers and the Wizards as well, two dime dropper teams. Then I'll maybe briefly go over the Celtics for a second. But let's talk about the Clips and the Suns. The Clips, my Clips, falling to Phoenix for the first time this season in our final matchup against one another, 109-101 at the formerly known as, when I attended it, the U.S. Airways Center in Phoenix, Arizona, in downtown. The Clips without Kawhi again tonight. I heard the news and I'm starting to worry a little bit. We're at the home stretch now with 8 games remaining in the season. Kawhi Leonard is not playing. I'm starting to think, is he actually injured? Because this is starting to worry me right now. Patrick Beverley's not back. Serge Ibaka, I know he's been in 4-on-4s or whatever, but he's still not back. And I want to get a little run of games of knowing what this is going to look like, because it's been very makeshift, very plug-in based on who's out all the time. And I think that is not a good thing when a team like the Suns, the Jazz, they've had continuity the whole time. That being said, despite the fact that we lost tonight, we're going to get into that in just a second, all the details. I don't think that we're going to lose to the Suns if we play them in a 7-game series. I really don't, unless there's an injury or something calamitous that the basketball gods have in store for the Clippers yet again in the second round. I think on some 06 shit. I really think that we should get revenge on the Suns for 06. But let's get into the game. It was a very poor start, in my opinion, on the defensive end for the Clippers. We were getting beat off the dribble constantly. We had no resistance on pick and rolls. Chris Paul and Devin Booker were either turning the corner and getting really solid looks, especially Chris, in my opinion. This is honestly the first game we've ever played against Chris where I was really like, damn, like, we can't stop this guy. Like, there was never a game, even when he was on the Hornets or the Rockets, where I was like, oh, Chris is getting really annoying. Like, no. But tonight was the first time, to be honest. He had some moments last year. He had that one game in when he was on the Thunder in December when Kawhi didn't play as well when he beat us, but besides the point, tonight was the best game Chris has played against the Clippers, in my opinion, at least from my memory, definitely since he left us. But we didn't have much resistance on screens. Reggie Jackson was, he's not much of a presence getting over the screens on Chris Paul. And if you don't hedge hard, throw 2 guys on him hard and prevent, the pass, then Chris Paul is going to make the right read. A lot of times it was the roll man tonight, DeAndre Ayton or Frank Kaminsky. And Frank the Tank was making little, chippies and little 6-foot floaters and one-handed push shots over the rotating guy. And, sometimes that's because Chris Paul was able to, he gets a pass through 2 bodies. And, that's obviously the skill at Chris Paul. But also, you got to pressure the ball a little bit. We were just getting beaten on poor closeouts. That's one thing that's very fundamentally poor in today's league, closeouts. I know they have to close out longer distance, and you have to be more wary of these shooters, but the fundamentals of the closeout are just poor. They're getting out just running and getting swept past each other, or, getting blown by on the hard closeout. The Suns were getting to the rim too easily, in my opinion. Too easily. 39-31 after 1. We did a little bit better in the second quarter with our second unit with Batum, with that small ball lineup of Patterson, who I thought held his own pretty decently defensively again. I mean, that's usually what he does pretty well. Rondo, who, the one thing, only criticism I have is I thought that sometimes he held the ball a little long, and, he was 1 of 3 from 3, and they were all pretty good looks. I wish he would have hit like one more of them. But overall, he calms a lot of things down. And he still gets guys good looks, and he feeds the mismatch. And, I like Rondo out. I love having Rondo out there. And tonight he was pretty good. I mean, I think he helped. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, only 2 turnovers. So I'll take that. And he was 4 of 8 from the field. He was pretty efficient. He got to the rim and a lot of penetrating and kicking. And when he missed, there were times where we got offensive rebounds off of that. Zubats, Terrence Mann. I thought they did a good job off of that. The only thing is with Rondo is, of course, we didn't have Kawhi, who's been a main ball handler, we know the role that he has for this team. So having Rondo, he usually won't be doing that much, in my opinion. And, tonight Rondo was like arguably our second best, or the second most commanding player for us in terms of who dominated the ball. But overall, I thought, Frank Kaminsky, Chris Paul, I thought they played really well. Cam Payne, saying his name, Cam Payne. But he's been great this season. We've talked about him here on Dime Dropper. The Suns were a Dime Dropper team early on in the season, and he was hitting some tough ones. I'm talking contested threes off the dribble, just, getting a switch on a Patrick Patterson, pulling him out, and, dancing a little bit and pulling a three over him, hitting floaters in the lane. 6 of 14 for Cam Payne. I thought he was really solid. 3 of 6 from 3 to go along with 4 rebounds and 4 assists, 15 points. But the third quarter, I thought our defense was better. I thought we started a little bit more attention to detail. I thought that Zubac was doing a little bit of a better job. I thought he was a huge passenger in the beginning of the game, and he started growing into it a little bit more, filling the lane hard, getting offensive rebounds, going up strong. And that's the main thing, going up strong, and catching the ball, keeping it up high, and going towards the basket. And he started doing that a little bit better in the second half. I thought Paul George did a really good job of making shots that kept us in the game. There were a couple opportunities where the Suns could have gone up by double digits, 12 points, 13 points. And Paul George would make a big shot, especially in the end of that first quarter. We were down by like 13, 14, I think, for a second. And Paul hit like 2 threes in a row and had like 15 consecutive points to keep us within the game. And it felt like if you were a Suns fan, the Clippers just weren't going away. And we got really close. We got really close in that fourth quarter. I thought, though, Marcus Morris Sr., Terrence Mann, we were down by like 1 point or so. We got good opportunities to tie the game or, hit the open shot to give us the lead even, and we didn't capitalize. I also think that we turned the ball over too much tonight, especially in very crucial moments of the game. We turned the ball over a grand total of 14 times. I think it was actually 15 times. The telecast showed 15. Let me just double check. 15 times, and the Suns scored 15 points off those turnovers. I thought that we did a better job of not shooting too many threes tonight, 12 of 31 for 39%, much better, but the turnovers were pretty costly, especially the timing of them. Paul George with 5 of them, so he had 5 turnovers to his 4 assists. I didn't like that, even though I thought he had a great game, or I shouldn't say a great game, a good game. 3 of 9 from 3, 9 of 21 from the field, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. To be honest, I didn't have too many problems with the threes he was taking. But yeah, I thought that the Suns were just a better team tonight. And you got to give a credit to my favorite player of all time, CP3. He was cooking us in that pick and roll in that fourth quarter. High screen and roll with DeAndre Ayton. And he was coming off with Reggie Jackson on him, and he was cooking him. He was creating space for that mid-range. And when you don't get up as the big man, then he's going to get into that mid-range area. And, there were a couple times where he actually just got the step and hit the Jets harder than I've seen lately in the last couple of years. Even on Paul George, he got by him once or twice, forced us to call a timeout with some reverse layups. Seeing Chris finish around the rim, going all the way is something you don't see as much nowadays. He's not as quick on his feet. He's not as quick off the dribble, off the bounce. But seeing him do that is, 1, impressive just to see him keep doing it. 2, not good enough from our guys on the perimeter. I think that we, again, miss Patrick Beverley against certain guards. Against a team like a Phoenix Suns that their best players are the backcourt, we struggle with Reggie Jackson and Kennard. Terrence Mann is the only one that can give us good bother a good guard coming off screens. So, Rondo, he's on defense in terms of that. And Reggie, Kennard, not good enough. So Kawhi and Patrick Beverley are 2 guys that will help our perimeter defense out, except I wouldn't rely on Bev. It's really, we're going to have Kawhi and work with it. But in fairness to the Clippers, I think that we'll beat the Suns in a 7-game series if we play them. My only concern is I think that tonight we got killed on the glass also. When we went to that small ball lineup, because, what was happening, Zoo or any big man would come up a little further on Chris Paul, because, we'd have a good defender on Booker, usually Paul George or someone like that. But Chris Paul was getting off you had to throw 2 on him. And the second you throw 2 on him, if you're not ready for that rotation, Chris Paul will bounce pass for a wide open layup for that roll for the guy setting the screen rolling to the basket. So, man, Chris, you got to give it to him. He was the player of the game for me tonight. He won him the game, the Phoenix Suns. They beat us 109-101. They clinched their first playoff berth since 2010. Everybody, let's give the Phoenix Suns a round of applause. I picked them as my 5 seed this year. They surpassed that expectation because of the Clippers and Lakers having a lot of injuries and load management and, guys in and out of the lineup. And same thing goes for the Denver Nuggets with Jamal Murray. I mean, they look like they were going to start catching the Suns, and you never know. They still could. I doubt it, though. And then, of course, the surprising season the Jazz have had. I actually had the Suns finishing over the Jazz, surprisingly. But, I think if you're the Clippers, 2 losses in a row isn't good. But the most important thing is we need to get Kawhi back. Now that we're 3 down in the loss column against Phoenix, I think the second seed could be lost. I think that, I don't want to say that we're taking the regular season too lightly because I don't know if Kawhi's actually injured or not. But in my opinion, there have been times where we really took it easy this season. However, I don't think that we should lose to Phoenix if we play them. But we need to make sure we stay in that spot because the Denver Nuggets are playing us next, and they're on our tails. Somehow, without Jamal Murray, they haven't, faltered that much. And I think that Nikola Jokic definitely is sealing his MVP case because of that. I think that Denver, we need to be very careful, very careful. We need to figure out what's good with this situation. Kawhi needs to come back because we need to get this chemistry ready to go by the playoffs. Because let's talk about, as we segue, let me see. Am I missing anyone? Terrence Mann, though, I thought he was good in the fourth quarter. Offensive rebounds, following up Rondo's misses and just several guys' misses, just being active. 12 points and 6 boards, 6 of 10 from the field. Reggie Jackson, though, not the best shooting night for him. 4 of 11 and 2 of 5 from 3. But I think that Ty Lue, I gotta give him some heat tonight, just like I hold the players accountable. There's no reason why Zoo should have been out of the game so long. DeAndre Ayton and the Nugget and the Suns, they got too many offensive rebounds tonight. And Zoo only played 25 minutes. And in the second half, other than the first quarter, he was very solid in the game. He was starting to grow into the game. And look at the offensive rebounding battle, 15-5 in favor of the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, that's not going to do it. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons we lost tonight. But I don't think it's too much to panic about, again, because we don't have Kawhi. So next game is against Denver, and it will not be easy. Clippers dropped to 43-21, Suns to 44-18. Chris Paul, awesome performance, man. Got to show love to CP. 28 points, 3 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, 10 of 15 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, and 4 of 4 at the line. Devin Booker, I thought he was solid, but he seemed like, I know Chris has been the closer in terms of when it comes to a game like this where it's not the final shot, but just shutting the door. And Chris was, even with the Clippers, always great at shutting the door. I just think that it seems like Devin Booker is kind of, he's letting Chris Paul do that, but he's starting to look a little, I don't know, he looked a little less confident tonight. I was more comfortable with the ball in Book's hands at the end of the game, which in the past, I've been very scared of the ball in Book's hands and more comfortable with the ball in Chris's hands as the opposition. But Devin Booker tonight, he looked a little like he didn't want that moment at the end, the way Chris did. So just something to watch going forward. I don't want, if you're a Suns fan, I'm only speaking if I was a Suns fan. At this point, I wanted the Suns to do well. I said they were my second favorite team this season, but they've become too good. So now they're our enemy now. They've become right into that direct competition with us. So I think that if I was a Suns fan, though, I don't want, Book needs to be getting big moments too, just because, he will be the one that hits the last shot. And Chris Paul is great for that closing the door moment, but you just don't want him to lose his confidence because here's the thing. Book is the franchise player. The window with Chris Paul is small. I don't think it will be a championship. Sorry, Suns fans. I just don't. But anyway, let's segue into a team that the Clippers could play in the first round if they fool around, and that is the Lakers, who fell again tonight to the red-hot Washington Wizards, led by the red-hot Russell Westbrook, who has completely been on an absolute tear since that injury he had in the beginning of the season when I was very critical of him. He has shut me up. He has been phenomenal. He is playing one of the best stretches of basketball that he's played in his career, which is saying a lot, and he is winning games. The fact that the Wizards are now 6 games under 500 after the ridiculous season that they've had with all the injuries that they've had, with Thomas Bryant, with all the fire Scott Brooks talk, with their poor defensive numbers, it has been a phenomenal display. And I think that, I didn't get to watch the first half of this game. The Lakers were down by 6 points when I started watching. But when I did start watching, I noticed a lot of Anthony Davis standing at the perimeter. And again, I've said this several times, teams will be comfortable with AD standing around playing like he's a shooting guard. I know that he doesn't want to clog the paint with Montrezl and Drummond in there, but okay then, that's fine. We'll let Anthony Davis sit on the perimeter and shoot because no team is that scared of that, I can assure you. Anyway, another thing, the Lakers tonight just didn't know when to quit shooting threes. It was ridiculous. For a stretch of the game, which is funny because they only shot 34, but especially Ben McLemore. I know he's a good shooter, but some of those in the third quarter were just exacerbating the Lakers already trailing by a bit and made it worse because the Wizards were capitalizing. Westbrook was getting the rebound and getting out and running, and that's the Russell Westbrook I love to see, pushing the pace, getting to the rim, getting and ones. He was phenomenal tonight, making some great passes. There was this one pass. I should have taken the TikTok of it. Man, dime dropper status. Westbrook was at the three-point line, and he was looking at the basket like he was going to shoot, and he fizzed that shit right underneath the rim to, I think it was Alex Len. And, that's a play where that's a long distance for the ball to travel from the top of the three to underneath the rim. As a defender, you should probably be able to get a tip on it. But the reason why Montrezl didn't was one, because, he's not the most alert guy in the world, but mainly because Russ put so much pace on it, and that's what you got to do. And he sold that shot fake. It was nice. Russ, he is really impressed with his passing lately. 18 points, 18 boards, 14 assists, 7 of 16 from the field. Bradley Beal was awesome as well. 27 points, 11 of 18 from the field. The Lakers, I didn't like what I saw from KCP either. 4 points, 1 of 5, 1 of 4 from 3. Andre Drummond, he has his moments, but he also has his moments where on defense he just looks slow, and he looks like he can be taken advantage of. Guys, Laker fans, there's 10 games left in this season. This is going to be a close call, man, with LeBron coming back and everything, just getting everything together. I think that the Clippers and the Lakers are in similar boats. I'd feel much better if I was a Clipper fan, but then at the same time, if you're a Laker fan, you're thinking, we have LeBron James and AD. We are the defending champs. I would bet our money on us every time. I wouldn't be so confident in my team. But the season, we've been better, obviously, with the health, even though we haven't been the most healthy either. But, we'll see. It's going to be a tough home stretch. Big win for the Wizards, though. The fact that Westbrook is getting this team in the play-in spots is just incredible. So Bradley Beal, 27 points, 11 of 18, and 3 of 5 from 3, if I didn't say that already. Alex Len, 18 points and 9 rebounds. And I got to talk about Rui as well. He was fantastic. I'm big on Rui. He's a very solid defender. He has good size and solid lateral movement. And he banged right on Anthony Davis tonight. My goodness, a poster. Some little kid in Japan is going to have that one. Mr. Tokyo, do your thing. 12 points for Rui, 4 of 8 from the field, and the Wizards come up with the win, 28-34. In other news around the league, the Knicks again coming up with a win, this time by nearly 20, 113-94 over the Chicago Bulls. Julius Randle, 34 points on 12 of 23 again, and the Celtics bouncing back from last night's defeat with 2 huge performances. Jason Tatum, 35, 8 and 8, and then Jaylen Brown, 38, 7 and 4. So a commanding performance. And Aaron Nesmith with 15 off the bench for the Celtics to get him the win. That's it for me tonight, guys. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. Leave a review. Now we're going to go to the live subscribers for a couple of minutes, around 5 minutes, because your boys got to go tonight. But, Super Chat's turned on. Peace. What's up, guys? Can't be on too long, man. Having a late dinner here. A lot of comments tonight. A lot of comments. What happened to Kawhi? I don't know. CP3 definitely deserves a ring, in my opinion, Maniac Lane, but it's not about who deserves it. You got to go out and earn it. I just think if he took a cheap way out, he could get one. What's up, Lake Show? Yeah, right. I don't. Unfortunately, I disagree with the CP3. Just got unlucky because when he used to get injured all the time, I just don't think that it's all luck when you get injured all the time. I mean, you can sometimes it is. It's half luck, but you gotta take care of your body. He's clearly done something differently, whether it's that vegan diet or just being more rested. But Chris, I think that's part of the reason why I'm not gonna have him as high all the time as most because those injuries killed our momentum a lot of times. Good for him to stay. Good for him though that he's been healthy the last 2 years. I think it's been such a big season why he's had this resurgence. Intel Wild, you don't want to see us in the first round, bruh. You know you don't want to see us in the first round. Let's see. I was talking about the Warriors, huh? Yeah, Mark Blue. What's up, Mark Blue? Says besides Kawhi and PG, I don't mind Rondo. I feel you on that. Let's see. Why are you stopping the recaps, Maniac Lane? Because quite frankly, I don't want to go live this much. I don't want to talk too much about this NBA. I want to limit it. I want to make it more, maybe we shorten the views. Maybe when we shorten. Actually, no, we're going to do lives next season. I'm not saying I'm stopping the recaps. I just said I'm going to do less of them. Yeah, not stopping the recaps. I just probably will do less of them. It's not going to be as an every night thing. And probably not every Laker and Clipper game. I'll try. We'll see. We'll have to talk about it with the team. But no, I'm not. But I'm gonna tune. I'm not gonna have like dime dropper teams. It's just gonna be Clippers, Lakers, Celtics. That's where we're gonna limit it because I can't do it, man. Sorry. Yeah, that small ball lineup did hurt the Clippers in crunch time. KB. No, I'm still doing the recaps. But the regular season just isn't the same as Raid said. That's true. That's another reason. I just like it's like, I'm putting I'm putting the energy into this like all the time, and like, sometimes it's like they're not putting their energy into making it the best product they can make it for the regular season. Cam. In my opinion, the CP3 Clippers were the best Clippers and would have won maybe one or two rings if you didn't have Glenn Rivers as coach. I disagree, Blake Griffin. I think this year our team is better. Let's see. You guys talking about Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday's a beast. Let's see. You guys are in full-on conversations here, huh? Ty Lue's rotations are dog shit. I don't know why you like him, bro. I don't think they're dog shit at all. I think they're overreacting completely. I think that he makes mistakes like every other coach, and I think that you need to look at the pros as opposed to the cons. They far outweigh them this season. If they make them in the playoffs, you can criticize them all you want, but I don't think that he's going to be that bad in the playoffs. I think for the most part, he doesn't look. I mean, look what he's working with. Serge Ibaka, he's one of our most important pieces. You want to talk about big man, in the rotation. Like, right, I agree that Patterson shouldn't be playing as much, but dude, how many wins have we gotten that, would you have done, you think you would have taken all the starters out against Atlanta and that would have happened? You think you could have done that, buddy? Because I'm not going to doubt Ty when he's done more good than bad this season. Quick question. What did I think of? Oh man, no, he got banged. Anthony Davis got banged on. What do I think of Dr. J's list? If you watch Is the NBA Getting Better and Better, I told you guys that I think I did, that Dr. J always says those 5 players. I'm not surprised at all because I know the history of the game and I know my UMass brethren. That the doctor always says Oscar, Jerry, Elgin, Bill, and Wilt. Those are his childhood heroes. He's never going to put his peers that he played against over because those are like real humans to him. Those are like gods to him who he watched first. So no, people are, of course, as I said, is the NBA Getting Better? Every time Jordan or LeBron is left off something controversial, which again, it's not supposed to be controversial. That was his personal list, not who the best 10 players in history are in his opinion. That's not what it was. It was who's his first 5, who's his second 5. That's a personal thing. And he said that in 2014, the same shit. It's an emotional decision and he's never going to change it. So it's not just the best 10 players. That's ridiculous because it's somewhat objective fact that Jordan accomplished more than Jerry and Oscar Robertson, but was he better? I can't speak on the prime Oscar. I wasn't alive. So there you go. SV, Kawhi and PG defensively have been good, not great, because they don't guard the best players for the large portions of games to conserve energy on the offensive end. They have completely been overrated defensively since they've come here because people think that just because they're good defenders means that they always play defense on the best players and guard the point of attack. And yeah, at times they can be a little lazy too. But they're good. They're good. They're just not as elite as everybody makes them out to be, in my opinion. They're elite when they want to be. OG Anunoby is good. How do I feel about passing up on MPJ for Jerome Robinson? I feel that we made a mistake, but whatever. Well, I think that Rondo was taken out for Reggie because Rondo needed a break. I don't think he was going to be staying in like the whole fourth quarter like that. Yeah, Boogie, I agree. Patterson should not have played over Boogie. I forgot to mention that. I think that we should have had Boogie in the game more. Thanks, Armani Campos. I don't know. We'll see if any teams lose or win games to not see the Lakers in the first. No, views won't dip. I think views will be better if I do less videos. Do you think Boogie should have played more than Patterson? I do think he should have. Dime, who makes playoffs in the East and West in your opinion, and what match do you like to see in both conferences? That's a long question. I think that I'm gonna stand by my picks. So obviously the Knicks are gonna make it now, I'm pretty sure. Who's getting booted for who I initially predicted would make it? To be honest, I don't know. I disagree. Cheaters always win. That is a terrible take to say that Ty didn't do shit in Cleveland and Rondo's the reason we're doing so good. We were doing well before Rondo. Rondo's just helped. We were doing well before. Our offense was the best three-point shooting team of all time, ball movement before Rondo. So I think that, nah. Simpleton Study Hall's in the house? Where's Simpleton Study Hall? All right, guys. Gonna get off tonight. What's my main concern about the Clippers? That we're a jump shooting team. That when we, sometimes. Okay. Simpleton Study Hall is asking me. This is sort of off topic. Diving the primary reason players are getting injured more often is because the sharper movements they make due to rule changes, which allow more movement. No, I really don't. I think that they've just been doing those same movements for so long in specialized training. And I think that they do a lot of resistance bands and stuff. I saw Tim Grover actually talking about this. I wanted to post it on Twitter. But he was saying that I don't think people are lifting as much anymore. And like, bro, we're going softer in practice. Like we don't practice anymore. I think that that's the thing. I think that they're not playing game speed as much. I think that also contributes. Like they've been doing it their whole lives, and they come and they get, they wear down. But anyway, that's it for me tonight, guys. Peace.